Hello! And thank you for clicking on this video. So I wanted to ask you, are you competitive? And I'm most of my life, of course, been very competitive. Starting as a kid, I definitely played sports. I was competitive in athletics and academics and almost in everything. And it's kind of instilled in us as a kid. Um, so, I think most of us at least understand competition. And I wanted to bring this up because competition, um, it can be used as something positive. But it can also be abused and used as something negative. Okay. So I got some verses here that really kind of talks about that and applies really in many areas. But really, I wanted to talk about specifically about competition, okay? Because it can be constructive or it can be destructive, okay? Um, so, first of all, are you competitive? And obviously, in every competition, there is a winner and a loser, or maybe a winner and many losers. Like the worldly thinking, the world has sayings like do do whatever it takes to win. Sayings like if you're not first, you're last. Stuff like that. So competition, definitely there's good things because it can motivate each other. It can motivate others. It can motivate yourself to achieve greater things, maybe. Um, push you to your limits, push you past what you think were your limits, to excel in certain things. Um, and that's a good thing. Now the thing is, it's very easy to slip into a prideful mode that's destructive. It's destructive for the winner who boasts and has that illusion that they're better than other people. Um, it can be destructive in saying you're not worthy, you've won nothing type of thinking. And so there's definitely constructive and destructive parts to competition, but it depends on what's in here. Okay, and this really applies, kind of like what I mentioned, to really many things in this world. And we can use it, or the enemy convinces us to use it as to create a gray area. Like, um, competition is bad. No, competition, for these reasons. Competition is good for these reasons. Well, no, it's those parts that you need to use to measure, not competition itself. Hopefully, I'm making that clear. So, like, there's a worldly measurement of things, and then there's the truth, the real measurement of things. Um, there's the worldly thinking in terms of something like, oh, it's okay to lie if you make someone feel, keep from making someone feel bad. No, it's never good to lie. You know, that's that gray area, and we create gray areas. So I've talked about gray areas before, but I want to talk about competition and to try to make sure you're using it for constructive purposes and not destructive purposes. Okay. Um, and obviously, I like football, sports, and everything like that. I mean, as a kid, I did soccer, baseball, wrestled, football. Football was my favorite, of course. On a side note, there's no feeling in the world like just I was a linebacker and a halfback, so in the kickoff punt return. But there's no feeling in the world just like crushing someone and decleaning someone, I have to admit, okay? Of course, safely, no injuries, of course. But man, just going all in and yeah, anyways, that's a side note. But yeah, I love football. And by the way, the Browns are going to win the Super Bowl. I just don't know what year that's going to happen, but you know, they're going to win the Super Bowl sometime. Sometime. They've got to, right? They've got to sometime. I'm going way off on a tangent here, but so competition. Let me bring up some verses here that really kind of speak to like competition. Okay. The first one I'm going to read is Proverbs chapter 27, verse 17, which says, "Iron sharpeth iron, so a man sharpeneth the countenance of his friend." And that goes to, you know, competition, competing, and the better you do, the more you're pushing your, others to achieve or surpass you. Correct? And that's motivating. Now, what can be, I guess, used as destructive is, first of all, what are you competing towards? What is the goal? Okay. And that depends on what's in here. That's more about what's in here. So it all starts here. Okay. It's not about your physical abilities. It's not about your mental abilities. It's really everything really starts here, right? And including competition. Okay. So, there's obviously winners and losers. The winner can be humble. The winner can, congratulate others for what they achieved. Okay. Or they can boast and be prideful, which is destructive to that person, because the thing is this: you're feeding into an illusion, okay? And the next time that you don't win, then you're feeling bad about yourself, and then the enemy uses that stuff to snare you, okay? Or even on both sides of that, of pride, it's pride and ego that's destructive. Okay, not competition. So and then there's many people that don't win, obviously. And then they can say, "Hey, I tried." You lose when you don't try. Of course, I tried. I did my best. I put it all on the field, or whatever saying. And congratulate and face the truth that someone else won, if that makes sense. And just be humble about it and stay humble. Not be prideful, because then that's going to get you in a dark place where you're not worthy, or you're mad at the winner, or you're mad at something, like some excuse that you're blaming why you didn't win on. So again, it all starts here, okay? But really, competition is kind of ingrained in many of us as a kid, and it continues through life. So I want to bring this up because you have to keep it in perspective, okay? Don't let it rule you, use you. Don't let the rulers of darkness use competition to snare you, but you use competition and to grow. And not just that, but be the blessing that pushes someone else and motivates someone else for them to get where they need to go. Okay? So it's like many things in this world. It's just how you use it, but it starts here. So I want you to be mindful of that. Okay? And part of that is truth, because our ego and pride can lead us to excuses that leads us to the illusion, and you get nowhere with that. If you're not on truth, you can't change. If you're not on truth, you're living in an illusion, which is not true. I mean, it's just the nature of what it is. So again, in here, you put in truth, you staying humble, or you want to feed that ego and that pride. How are you looking at competition? What do you desire out of competition? Okay. But again, it can be a good thing. Iron sharpeneth iron. So I wanted to, of course, bring this up because there's worldly measurements, and you really need to be aware of like true eternal measurements. Okay. If you're using these worldly measurements from a world that's ruled by agents of darkness that come, steal, and destroy, or based off of a group of evil people, because we're not love 100% of the time, so we're not good, then your whole measurement is skewed, and it's not truth. Okay. So try to stay in the truth that worldly thinking is kind of based off of limitations of better or worse. Okay. Of separation. But the truth is, there's an infinite God with an eternal kingdom. Okay. And so just keep in mind that it's not the end of the world. Competitions are not the end of the world. Okay. Like when we think of limits, when we focus on the limits of things, it can put more pressure, and we can actually elevate the importance of things that aren't important. Okay. I'm trying to bring to light some things that cause you pain, and it cause you to cause pain for others through competition, but don't get snared by those. But use competition to be constructive. Okay. So anyways, let me go to the next verse. Here. And which is, if I can turn to it here. Let's see here. Let's see. Where to go? Where did it go? Where did it go? It went. Bible pages are so thin, and I can't rip a page. Like I don't, I feel like bad karma type of thing if you rip a page in the Bible. Okay, I don't want to rip a page. So, anyways, side note. Next one is going to be Galatians chapter 5, verses 26 through 25, which says, "If we live in the Spirit, let us also walk in the Spirit. Let us not be desirous of vain glory, provoking one another, envying one another." And that is when competition is destructive. Okay. And again, it kind of really applies to, really involve God in all things. And God is love, peace, joy, kindness, truth, all that stuff, right? You try to be that in every step of in every moment, which is every step of your walk. Okay. And if you're walking in the Spirit, always try to, if you live in the Spirit, try to walk in the Spirit. Like, it's just not words. It's easy to say things. It's hard to actually be those things. Okay. And don't be a hypocrite. Of course, the Bible always talks about don't be a hypocrite. So don't make excuses, because excuses makes us feel better, maybe. And we try to convince ourselves of why we weren't loving that moment for whatever reason. Okay. But again, so and of course these words really apply to everything, but specifically about competition, I think people fall in the snare of being desiring self glory, vain glory, provoking one another. Uh, I was going to say a bad word, crap talking to another. Okay. Crap talking to another. And envying one another. Like when you lost, they won and all that stuff. Almost making an idol out of someone, putting them on a pedestal, thinking that there's a truth to better or worse. There isn't better or worse. There's either is or is not. Like I kind of mentioned, I think yesterday's video, it's really simple, but it's not easy because it's really black and white. And I've talked about there is no gray area. And I'm kind of getting off a tangent here. But competition, it's so easy to slip into this destructive mode, fueled by our ego and our pride. Okay? But it's destructive for both the person, the winner, and the losers if you do that. But that really applies to everything in life, even though I'm just talking about competition. But competition, the way this world pushes you to win at all costs. No. And to be honest with you, what we are being competitive about, the truth of it, is not against each other, but really against ourselves, our flesh. It is against our ego. Is your spirit going to win, or is the flesh going to win? That's really the competition that is true, okay? And that's the competition you need to use to measure by. Not how you physically outran someone, okay? But how you stayed humble, okay? How you congratulated the winner, like from the heart, not just to try to be nice and fake, but literally, wow, I know how hard it was to do what I did, and you exceeded that. Great job. Okay? Like, it all starts with the heart. It all starts with the heart. And I know I've been talking for a while here. Sorry, I'm going to go to, but it's very important because you can either use competition as iron sharpening iron to excel and grow, or you can use it to have vainglory, provoking another, or envy. Like those are not good things. So that's kind of what I'm wanting to circle back to here. And be mindful of it. Be mindful of how you're seeing it, or what are your motivations for the competition. Is it vainglory, or is it really just to be better yourself and to maybe even push others to exceed what they think they can do? Okay. So 1 Corinthians chapter 10, verses 31 through 33. Whether therefore ye eat or drink, or whatsoever ye do, do all the glory of God. Okay. So again, this really, what I'm talking about kind of really applies to everything. Live in the Spirit, walk in the Spirit, in everything. Involve God in everything. And do all the glory of God. So with that, I mean, like God created you, He provided everything for you to be enabled to achieve whatever was achieved. So try to stay humble, give glory to Him, because when you do that, and this is from my experience, He glorifies you. You don't need to worry about glorifying yourself. The humble will be exalted. Like it's the truth, okay? But if you already, I would say, I guess, claimed your reward, okay, and it really is a lesser reward when it's vain pride and crap talk, then then you already claimed what you desired for your reward. But if you stay humble and all that, then really God will glorify you in ways you couldn't do on your own. Okay? But stick with glorifying God, and he glorifies you. Okay? Give none offense, neither to the Jews nor the Gentiles, nor to the church of God. Represent God. Give glory to God by being God, which is love, understanding, kindness, gentleness, all the fruits of the Spirit. That's, and give thanks. Be thankful. Even as I please all men in all things, not seeking mine own profit, but the profit of many, that they may be saved. So that kind of goes, like I was saying, are you wanting to be the iron that sharpens someone's iron more than what they thought they could? Do you want to be that blessing for them? Or do you want to spread darkness and tell them they're not worthy? Okay, they suck. All that stuff. So anyways, I hopefully I conveyed what I believe I was supposed to convey, that competition, just like many things in this world, is a tool, okay? But it all starts here, about if it's a tool to be productive or destructive. Be the light or be the darkness. Be the blessing or be the curse. Okay? So anyways, if you like the video, well, and always in all of these videos, of course, always comment or ask questions down below. If you did like the video, please thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't already subscribed. Ring-a-ding-a-ling that bell for notifications to let you know when I upload videos. And as always, stay strong and God bless.